Hi friends! So I have just laid out my cards for a introduction to your deck spread, and I thought it would be fun to record it and show you. For this reading, I'm just going off strictly an intuitive tarot card reading. I'm not going to be looking at the book just for this first reading. I want to go off just my first impressions of the cards. And this spread that I found is one that's meant to be a introduction to your deck, sort of a getting to know the strengths and weaknesses of your deck. And I've already selected my cards, so let's get started with the card in the first position is the most important characteristic of the deck. And that is play. Now, I could not have wished for a better card for the most important characteristic of the deck. I think what that is telling me is not to take this journey into tarot card reading too seriously. It's not meant to be a tool to tell you what your fortune is. It's here to guide you, but it's meant to be a lighthearted oracle deck. That doesn't mean that I can't reveal things that are, potentially a little bit more deep and meaningful, but that the overall feeling of this deck is one that is meant to be a joy that is shared. The next card in space number 2 is what the strengths of the deck are. And that is destruction. Okay. So the strength of the card of this deck, I think that this deck is going to be useful at breaking down barriers and letting preconceived notions go, letting any sort of internal feelings that you're harboring, getting them out into the open, and destruction doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be letting go of a piece of you in order to move on, or letting go of a negative aspect in order to grow. So that's kind of cool. The next card in space number 3 is what are the limits of the deck? The limits of the deck is the universe. So I think that this deck is only as limited as we want it to be. This deck has the potential of an entire cosmos, of the universe, and any sort of realities that we want to bring into fruition. We are only limited by our own notions of what we can achieve. And moving on to space number 4. Space number 4. What are you here to teach me? So what is my oracle deck here to teach me? This is the Share Wisdom card. So I think that this deck is here for me to be a tool for connecting with others and sharing any sort of insights that I can gain from this deck about bringing light into people. And the reason why I was super excited to get this tarot deck was for doing readings for other people, and I think it's great that this deck is able to confirm that it is alongside me as part of that journey. That is exciting. And card number 5 is, how can I best learn and collaborate with my deck? And that card is Underworld. And I'm not really sure what that card means. That is an interesting card to draw for how I can best collaborate and learn with my deck. And it's at first glance, it's throwing me for a bit of a loop, but I think that the deck is telling me that it can allow us to dig a little bit deeper. The deck doesn't have to just be a light and fluffy, revealing fun times deck. If we choose to let it reveal maybe some darker things that we're harboring, in order to help let go of those things or become aware of them. But that's definitely an interesting card to pull, and one that I will have to research a little bit more. And finally, in the 6th slot here, we have, what is the potential outcome of our working relationship? And that is the Observer. So the potential of this deck, I think, is that I can become more aware and improve my observational and my interpersonal skills of being able to connect with people and observe, not only on a physical level, of seeing them, but also seeing more of what's inside. So that is my 6-card intro spread, and I'm super excited. I think this was a really neat first oracle reading, and I'm super excited for what this deck has to show in the future, and I'm super excited to get to do more readings for other people and see what else this deck can teach me. So right now I'm going to check in here just because I'm a little curious about Underworld. I'm going to look in the guidebook. So Now the Underworld card was pulled for how I can best learn and collaborate with my deck. So if the Underworld card comes to you, it's either an invitation to go within yourself, or it serves as an acknowledgement of where you currently are. If you do not sense that you are in the underworld, then this card is asking you to take a pause and allow the things that need to fall away to do so. So many people resist being in the underworld or try to rush the journey, but this card is asking you to settle into it and surrender. Give yourself permission to be in this in-between space and welcome the changes to the best of your ability. While we are in the underworld, we need to allow ourselves to be there without anticipating the rebirth. We must simply be. I think that is a meaning that aligns pretty closely with what I had garnered just from my intuitive reading, and so I'm looking forward to what else this deck has to teach me. Thanks for watching.